Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Trumpet Tip Tuesday. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Trumpet Tip Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, new videos with me or with a guest. This is our first video with a guest. I'm here in Łódź, Poland at their international trumpet competition. I just want to thank Rex for coming out just to do this interview.
Just to Poland, just to do this.
Just to do this, and he leaves tomorrow.
You're welcome.
So this week's topic I want to talk about after you do a long day of travel. I mean, us musicians, we're always on the move, and once you get to a place after not playing for a couple hours or like even a day, what do you do to make sure everything's working right? Because a lot of us have had a point where we've traveled all day, we pick up our horn and so it just sounds like crap. So what do you do to make sure that if stuff's not feeling well, what do you do to make sure you can bring it back to your best?
Yeah, I think it's the nature of the trumpet that the way it feels from day to day, of course, is not reliable for us. So what we have to be able to do is manage to get the job done, no matter how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
And so my strategy mostly is about what I do when I'm at home. Like, I'm a very heavy practicer at home, and I'm not when I'm on tour. So I haven't had any practice at all since I've been here, for example, and I had to do the concert 2 nights ago. But that's pretty typical that when I'm traveling, I just don't know if I'm going to get to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I just try to gauge the situation. Many times I have long layovers, which just make the trips even longer. And some of the trips are just long anyway, like going to Australia, going to East Asia. These can easily take 25 or even 35 hours at times, So I just try to gauge what it is I think I'm going to need. I look at the schedule. When I get there, how quickly do I have to be in rehearsal? What kind of layovers do I have and what opportunities? So one of the reasons why I have, both my big case that I check and the small double case is that I had a 6-hour layover in Dulles Airport when I flew from Richmond. Of course, it's a really short flight from Richmond, but my parents live like about 20 minutes away from Dulles. So I was like, cool, I'll go to my folks' house, shed there. So I brought this case with a B flat and E flat in it because I knew that's what I would need to practice. But the night before, I practiced on flugelhorn and piccolo because I knew I wouldn't get to play it from the time I left the home about 8 in the morning to go to the airport until I got to here to Łódź and the following afternoon in Poland. So a lot of it's just being strategic that way. Can you edit that out? Yeah. That was a verbal cack there, I guess. Yeah. And I just try to gauge what I need. So on Thursday.
Well, because you were in Michigan.
Yeah.
And did you fly from Michigan straight here?
No, Michigan. I flew home Sunday night. I got home about midnight after doing a concert with Five Lake Silver Band. I played the new Plow concerto with them, and the night before I played with the brass band at Battle Creek. And then, so I got home at midnight Sunday night, and then 8 in the morning Tuesday I was on my way here. So, yeah.
So, but it's still like a lot of not enough time to do your normal routine per se, like in between those trips.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean I got some practicing on Monday for sure, and I try to gauge it. Lots of times I have days off kind of forced upon me by travel, and this can be a blessing. Like tomorrow I probably won't play at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been a heavy couple weeks of playing, and I find days off to be really helpful, but they have to be strategically placed. My next concert after being here in Poland is going to be on December 20th in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So I have some time. I'll be at home. The thing is, though, I do have to do recording stuff, and this coming week. So the one day off is all I get. As soon as I'm home, I'll be back on the horn and getting the chops going again. So it's very much about being strategic and trying to gauge what do I need. Do I need to play more? Do I need to play less? And a lot of that comes from experience. Having successes and failures, just depending on some sorts of decisions I made, and trying to fine tune the approach.
Yeah. So we talked off camera before that when you came here, you weren't feeling 100%. So how long was the flight?
Well, the flight, there were 3 flights.
You took 3 flights.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a very short flight. Being in the air, really only about 30 minutes from Richmond to Dulles.
Mm-hmm.
Then a 6-hour layover there. Then a 7-hour flight overnight from Dulles to Amsterdam. A couple hours there, then another hour and a half or something flight to Warsaw, and then it was about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive or something from here to Warsaw from there.
Yeah. So let's bring it back to that day.
Yeah.
So you gone through all this travel. You get a practice room or a room to play in, and you pick up the horn. What do you do?
First thing I do is a little bit of mouthpiece buzzing. So I use it just to kind of get my ear engaged with what I'm doing, and if my breathing is lazy, it helps me to figure that out and it gets me moving air. So I'm not a huge mouthpiece buzzer, but so I don't do like massive routines, but a little bit to get it going, and I use it very often when I'm trying to fix a problem. If I'm working on something in a piece, it just doesn't seem like I'm hearing it properly.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so I'll do lots of times stamp type stuff, and I might change it. So if I go, I might use a scale, more scaled version. So at the end, obviously my lips aren't even in the mouthpiece anymore, but that's what starts my air really going, So I don't even usually do independent breathing exercises. I just do some mouthpiece exercises.
Yeah, just to make sure the air is...
Yeah. And then the pedal range, that's the only range I allow myself to deliberately push. Here, I never think of even support, really. It's not even a concept for me. But in the pedal range, on the trumpet or on the mouthpiece, you can push because there's no resistance, and you don't get that isometric tension. I think most of us have plenty of tension in our playing. So when I hear people say you're not supporting, I'm like, okay. Most of the time, what's happening as a kid is, it's like, man, you got to get rid of tension. Just like let the air out of your lungs because there's already resistance there.
Right.
So but that's how I get the breathing going, and then I get on the instrument. I tend to do some of the James Stamp type stuff just to get my centering happening, because if I'm not playing in the center, then nothing really works. So pretty typical James Stamp bending exercises, but with a little bit of a twist.
So you go half step, bend, half step down, whole step, and then you bend up, or you finger up and...
Yeah, finger up a half step, go back to the note, finger up a whole step. And it was funny seeing Jose do that in his class yesterday, because I steal stuff from him, and he stole that, I think, from me, that I stole from Whiff. So we all, in fact, the mouthpiece exercise I got from Jose. And so it's just funny how the exchange of ideas works. But yeah, so that's how I do the stamp exercises. I almost never practice the high register. I just kind of don't deal with it.
Excuse me, sorry, can I ask you about some ID card, maybe your ID card, because I leave the building now. And
Okay. Yeah.
we need some documents on the reception.
Just a second. Sorry, one of the guys that helped us get this room, because we can't speak Polish, they needed an ID card, so I just had to give it to him. So we're good. So where were we?
Real life drama, man.
Yeah, real life drama.
International incidents.
International incidents. All right, so you get through the bending. What were you going to say after that?
I'll typically spend some time in the low register. I don't really tend to practice the high register, which is actually something I'm working on, trying to figure out how to do that. Because as you hear, I'll get up in the high register, but I don't really know what I'm doing there. You know what I mean? So it's the problem with that is that while I can do it in concerts, my chops aren't really conditioned for what I do in concerts sometimes. So the next day I'll be a little more beat up than I should be. So it's a strategy I'm working on, is how to effectively practice the high registers so that I'm more conditioned and I can get a little more precision. You know, because I'm not really playing. I'm not a lead player, and I don't play the kind of equipment that a lead player plays. This is everything's on a 1.5 C and a large bore B flat. So something I'm working on. Yeah, but as it is now, it's not really part of my practice. But I'll do stuff in the low register. Some of the same stuff Jose was doing yesterday. You know. And sometimes some of the same kind of stuff as before. And that tends to be very healthy for my chops, you know, especially after travel. There are a bunch of physiological things we face when we travel that to be honest with you, I only have a bit of a vague awareness of it. There's a sheer physical exhaustion, and there's dehydration, and that we often face. So I try to make sure I'm drinking a lot of water. I don't have any kind of a strategy for jet lag. I just sleep when I can.
Yeah.
And when I have to work, I just work.
Right.
So I don't, my attitude is about it is, when I'm actually working, I just ignore whatever fatigue I have, you know, just decide I gotta play, I gotta teach, whatever it is. But I don't deal with melatonin or try to time my sleeping. It's like, no, I'm tired, I'm in the room, sleep. And these guys who stay up all night and they're like, well, you know, it's 11 o'clock, I have to get up at 5, or leave at 5, I'm not gonna sleep. I never do that, man. I find, and I think it's actually quite dangerous. I think people don't realize, we're learning more and more about the importance of sleep, but it's really, really damaging to the body. What I've discovered is I don't get colds very often, but I am almost 100% likely to get a cold if I pull an all-nighter. It's crazy, man. I can almost bank on it. I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah.
So even if I sleep for 1 and 2 hours, it's better than nothing. And so that's another tip I would give people, man, is like you just sleep when you can. Don't try to cheat that. Even if you're young and strong, man, it can catch up with you. You know.
That's really good advice, to just sleep when you can.
Sleep when you can. Well, because some people don't do that. They have these strategies
Yeah.
with jet lag, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm awake. I got to work. Cool, do it. I'm in the room. I don't have to be awake.
Right.
Let myself sleep.
Cool. So to recap, we first talked about just strategizing what horns you're going to be playing, what music you're going to be playing, to make it more optimum when you get to the performance venue. And second, when you're about to play, and stuff doesn't feel well, just you like to get the breathing going with some lip buzzing and lip bending.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it doesn't work, eventually you just keep going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a certain degree of conditioning that I have and that we all have depending on what kind of playing we do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really conditioned to, say, play in an orchestra and I like playing Bruckner or something. I mean, sometimes I get to sub with orchestras. I'm playing like third trumpet or something. I remember one time we were doing the Nielsen Symphony, number 4, and I'm on this F sharp in the staff, playing as loud as I can for like 8 counts, and I'm going, what am I doing? It's like I never play this kind of stuff. In my solo playing or jazz, it's something I would never do. You know? And I'm going,
you should just
that
throw it into a solo one time. Nail the high F.
This is for Nielsen, man. Just F sharp in the staff. 8 counts, fortissimo, you know. But
man, great quote. You're quoting Nielsen.
Exactly. But it's a particular kind of conditioning.
Yeah.
And so most of the time, even if my chops feel bad, as they really did Thursday night, I can make it work pretty well. It's not what it might be if they actually felt good, but it's not usually going to be any kind of a collapse.
Yeah, and all of this is given that you've done the work leading up to this moment.
Oh yeah.
We're discussing how to get over this, like to be 100% if you don't feel 100%. But that only can happen if you've done the practice and the work leading up to the moment. Because, I mean, if you're not 100% prepared, and you can't really expect to be 100%.
Yeah, and there's still surprises, you know, like even the Haydn Variations thing we did by Stevenson. The last time I played that was about 8 months ago. And I played it from memory. And then I practiced it from memory. But then when I got to, with the pianist rehearsing, I was like, I started having memory glitches. So it was like, I don't trust myself, man. Because it's been so long since I actually performed it from memory. And that's where you have your memory glitches, of course, in performance. So that's why I printed out the piano part, man. I was like looking at stuff, at least glancing at it.
Yeah. And I mean, you said you had it memorized before, and just leave the ego and use the music.
Yeah. It was like, you know, I love coming out and playing with no music. It's my favorite way to do recitals. So I was like, you know, this is an important concept for me. It's like if I look a little silly using music for every piece, I mean, you know, everyone else used music this week too, so I didn't feel too bad. But it's like it was more important for me to feel like I want to play well for everyone instead of trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna push myself and play from memory, because then the stupid things happen. Then it's, you know, it's unnecessary damage, you know, needless carnage.
Right.
Musical carnage. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, thanks for being here today.
Sure.
Coming just to do this interview. Make sure you like and subscribe this video to see weekly, because it's Trumpet Tip Tuesday.
It's gonna be a lot of work, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of work every day. No, Trumpet Tip Tuesday. Every Tuesday, you're gonna have material by me and guests that I interview, and my whole goal in Europe is to, I mean, you're not even from here, but you're here.
Right.
Is to show you guys great trumpet artists and teachers all over Europe, and I guess from the US too. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoy.
This is very like Sheldon Cooper, man. Fun with flags.
Dr. Sheldon Cooper's Fun with Flags.